and welcome back to another episode of Won't Be Silent. I'm thrilled to have Tanya Tsikanovsky here with me, who I kind of just saw on social media, and she was speaking so so truthfully, and that's my whole thing is brutally honest Abe. And I reached out, and here we are.
Here we
So
are.
pleasure, and an even bigger pleasure to meet you last night, coincidentally at that premiere.
So funny too. I got a random invitation like yesterday, so it's so nice how that worked out.
Do you know Danielle?
I do. So I was nominated for the brigade. And so I that's how she's, I guess, considering whether to add me to it or not. I'm not really sure what the process is, but that's how I was invited. So
It takes a second, but it's a great community. I've been there for I don't know since maybe February, and
wow.
I feel so less alone, even though a lot of stuff is happening through this kind of communication. But I have most of my friends were not Jewish, but hey, I have an Israeli husband, but whatever.
No big deal.
But I really was feeling alone, not only because of the war, just kind of the compounding of hearing hatred all day long. So,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I certainly can empathize and resonate with that very much. So
so if you want to just share a little bit about, I think your last post, I think it was about being a lesbian, being like, I was really touched by that.
thank you. Thank you. Was it the one, I'm trying to remember which video. Was it the one where I was talking about being gay versus non like binary or trans, or was it the one where it was just like what it's like being gay and Jewish?
I think it was the butch one.
The
The
Dutch one, yeah. I mean, that one was, it's been very difficult because, I came out when I was 14, I went to Brentwood High School in Los Angeles. I was a private high school. I came out in front of the assembly. We used to have assemblies like once a week. So it was in front of the whole school, which at that point was 7th through 12th grade because it had middle and high school on the same campus. And I had the opportunity to have, to speak with a teacher who, about like I essentially came out to her and she gave me a lot of support. And I realized, there's definitely other people on this campus that feel the same way and just don't really have an outlet. And so I came out at assembly. I was technically officially the first person to come out at my high school. This was in 2003 or two or so like that. And I started the Gay Straight Alliance. And it's been around all these years. I still go back, every few years and talk to the students there, which was great. But I came out as a lesbian, and I remember for many years because I presented in a masculine way, people would ask me all the time, like, are you a man? Do you want to be a man? You must be a man if this is what you look like. And there was so much time that I had to like spend to defend the fact that I was a woman, that I loved being a woman. I also went through a period of time where I had to question, do I want to be a man? Because clearly everyone else seems to think that I should be. And there was just a lot of almost like imposed hatred onto myself from like both straight people and gay people that were like, well, where do you fit on this spectrum? And I loved and felt so privileged to have been born in a time where, born this way was celebrated and learning how to love who you are is celebrated. Like for me, my youngest memories, I felt something for women. It wasn't a choice, it wasn't conscious, it just happened. Um, and I loved the notion that we needed to learn to accept exactly who we are as we're born and whatever that means. And so for me, now being in a space where I feel like I have to say the word queer instead of lesbian. I can't say the gay community, the lesbian community. No, it's queer, and it therefore has to encompass every like alternative perspective, sexuality, gender identity. And for me, like I obviously want to be able to have inclusive spaces and I want everyone to feel comfortable, but I do feel like we're at a point now where women that look like me are no longer accepted as women. We are told now, well, you obviously must be men or must want to be men. And that there was a period of time where I felt like the whole butch identity was being robbed of me, and I'm sort of just now, because I'm being outspoken about it, I see there's so many people coming to me and saying, hey, like, well, we feel the same way. I remember leading up to Dyke Day, I created a WhatsApp group for lesbians ahead of that day that were Zionists. I wanted to attend with people that were like-minded. And I kept it open. I even, I think, made a post on my story saying, hey, if you want to attend and you're a Zionist and you want to have a group, come join. And I got private messages from people saying, I need you to change the name of the group because not all of us are lesbians. And I looked at that and I'm just like, what? But I'm creating a lesbian space. So why are you coming to me and then telling me change it because we're not lesbians? And I'm like, well, then find your own space. Then like this isn't the space for you then. Like, and it's not, I'm not trying to like kick you out, but it would literally be like, I'm going to convert to Christianity. I'm going to say I'm Christian. I'm going to adopt Christian life and then insist that I'm going to go and get a bat mitzvah. Like, what? Like, it's just, it makes no sense to me. And it just feels like, like I'm not allowed to be able to have my own space. And for so long, in a straight heteronormative world, like we need those spaces to feel like we're included, to feel like we can be ourselves. And now, it's the queer spaces that are erasing lesbians. And it's nuts because I have no idea if that's happening on the gay guy side because it doesn't feel that way. Please give me feedback if it is. But for me, I just feel like I everyone's calling me they, which like really revs my engines. Like I have a degree in English. I do not want to be like I don't want grammar to be incorrect. I don't want to have like usage to be incorrect, like number one. But number two, I just feel like in so many ways, like this non-binary movement has really hurt trans people. Like there are people who I know who deeply have felt that they were in the wrong body and they transitioned so that it would match. And I respect and support and like, bravo, live your life. But now I go into lesbian spaces and it looks like a cancer ward. Half of them don't have tits anymore, and but yet still want to identify as women sometimes, or today I feel like a man, tomorrow I feel like a woman. I mean, I can understand that people suffer in their gender. I'm trying to like be open to it. But for me, I just feel like, look, like masculinity, femininity, like clothing, cologne, hair, none of those things are genders. Those are all the ways that we express ourselves. To me, that's art. So I feel like there is some really weird agenda in our community. Like we spent so many years fighting for gay rights and being equal, and then we finally won. We finally had federal marriage equality. We finally had civil protections. And then now I think we don't know what to do with ourselves. It's like now we're just creating more problems that do not exist. And so I don't know, like that's maybe I just feel like maybe I'm just getting really old. Like I'm 38 and maybe this is what happens as we age. That
Actually, you're not really old. You're not really old.
well,
So
I
just
feel like
to that point, just I was part of the 70s coming out movement. So I
I
understand.
owe you a lot of thanks because you gave me a ton of stuff in the 90s, and that's thanks to you in the 70s.
Yeah, like we marched down, I'll never forget marching down Fifth Avenue for the first gay pride. And I had a boyfriend and holding hands, and you just felt like there was a coming together of the gay community.
Yeah.
Now I feel like it's going in separate directions. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
feel it's been a while that I don't feel part of the gay community. I've been saying for a while now, since political correct speak became so major in the aughts, like the 2008-9 is when
Yeah.
political correctness really started getting nauseating for me.
Yeah.
Um, I say I'm homosexual, yes, gay, no,
Hmm.
and that is my line.
Got it. Okay.
I don't. I mean, I don't, and I could sound like a bitch, but like going through gay pride here, and I'm like, I live in just like steps away from West Hollywood, and it was like embarrassing. This was not the community that was, and there was trans and bi people and all that was happening.
Yeah.
It wasn't like nobody needed labels. Nobody
Yeah.
needs to put a new stake in the ground. We had a stake in the ground. We were
Yeah.
gay. We wanted to be with each other. We wanted to,
Yeah.
and it was actually in the beginning, the lesbians and the gays kind of had their own spaces, and it was fine. Like
Yeah.
I didn't
And
need
yeah,
to go to the cubby hole.
exactly. No, 1,000%, 1,000%. And
I
I
mean,
don't,
I would occasionally, because my friend would say, "Come with me," but that
yeah,
like, it was like, yes, you have Henrietta's great.
exactly. Like you
I
have
mean,
your space, enjoy it. And I feel like now everything has turned into something so performative
oh,
and like as extreme as it can get, and also like has to include every kink. I mean, look, I am a lesbian Jew. I am kinky as hell, but that doesn't mean I need that like on display, like down
yeah.
Santa Monica Boulevard. It doesn't like why does asexuality now fit under the queer umbrella? Asexuality literally means we're not sexual. Like that is so not like what's happening in our community. So like it just literally seems like I think that we've become like the etc. group. Like you have straight people and then you have every other possible like identity and sexuality and kink and like whatever grouped into this thing. And I feel like we're just losing our lesbian, like the lesbian identity, the gay identity. Like it's just like getting just lost in just all of this. I don't know, like it's to me it's all really crazy, and I try to check my ignorance because I'm like, look, I am getting older. I feel like every generation feels this way about the new one, like they're coming and messing everything up. And so I'm trying to take everything with a grain of salt. But when, I a friend of mine is throwing, has always historically thrown like a lesbian party. And like it was literally like a lesbian night, and she was losing attendees because they said that it was exclusive of them. They weren't allowed to be there. So unless they changed the wording, they didn't want it. They didn't want it. So it's like I don't understand. Like we can't are lesbian spaces no longer accepted among queer people? Like, and if so, why? Why can't a woman just remain a woman that likes women? Why do we have to have everything else under the sun now attached to us?
You know
It's
what though? You know what though? Why ask why? If
That's
if
true.
that if that's been conveyed to you, if you feel that, then
Yeah,
even if you have to find a community that's smaller than the throngs of
true. Yeah.
horrendosity, which is the ultimate like vision of what that's become. Like
Yeah.
this year, and I don't remember it last year as much, but this year with the Fias and the thing, I mean, like, okay, now we'll segue into Jew stuff. But
Let's do that. Yeah, the kafiyas, I just cannot.
I mean, I find it to be really embarrassing. See, I refuse to be afraid. I mean, that's the
Same.
gift of having parents that survived Dachau.
Yep.
And not only
Absolutely.
that, my dad, after years in the gulags, joined the Bricha, which is the underground that kind of smuggled the Jews out
Oh
of
my God.
the DP camps to the
Wow.
boats that got them to Israel, right?
Oh my God. Wow.
Bring it. You know what
Yeah.
I
I
mean?
mean, you're a descendant of fighters.
Yeah.
You're not gonna
So,
back down.
and the thing that I want to say to you, because you have that great fighter spirit, that kind of
Thank
obvious
you.
first generation spirit,
Mhm.
that it would be almost an important thing to, as we go through this phase in our Jewish culture here in America and specifically LA, to find what I pose as who are going to be our partisans. Like if we're headed down this path that everyone has said that a lot of Jews are afraid of, oh, like I don't think we're headed down to another Holocaust, although my sister kind of thinks so. But
I might be on your sister's side with that.
but
You
the
and I
thing is,
might be,
but people show up
yeah.
every time. Moses, who did what he, we're descendants of Moses. Do I
Yeah.
need to remind everybody?
I
So
mean, look, I do not in any way think that we as Jews will ever not survive. So I don't look at this as, okay, we're about to, be wiped off the map. No. But for me, if one Jew on this planet is made to feel uncomfortable, if one of us feels like we can't be who we are, that's enough for me to be angry. And that's enough for me to want to say, you know what, like something needs to change. We're too small in the world. And yes, we're very powerful, but in every instance, we have always been kicked out. We have always been treated poorly. And because I was born in the 80s and in LA and in a pretty affluent Jewish surroundings, I was definitely raised with an awareness of my history, but very much feeling like it's history, right? I didn't feel like it was the present. I didn't feel like this was the future. I just felt like, okay, we came from survivors, we came from people that were persecuted. Now it's time to live and thrive, right? I didn't realize that then after, like I was sort of headed to like our own Holocaust. So basically what I'm learning now, or at least what I think, is that in every generation and every time period, if you are a Jew, at one point in your life, you will have to know what it's like to have an existential threat, even briefly. You're going to have to fight for your right to actually exist. We will always win. I do believe we're the chosen people. I do believe that because of that, we have to struggle and we have to suffer, and that's our what we have to endure in our lives. I think that's our purpose. But I think through that, I would like to make the suffering a little easier, and I would like to make it incredibly uncomfortable and painful to everyone that hates us as much as possible. So for me, the best way to do that is to show up in places where I'm unwanted and to still be visible, even if that makes someone mad. When we watched that movie last night, I loved every bit of it. I want to grow singers. I want us to be able to start opening up more places that are just for us. But in that same breath, I do not want us to stop going to other places because I don't want to give people the
No,
luxury
we don't
of
want to
being
go back
around.
into the shtetl mindset.
Yeah,
That's
never.
no,
It has
that
to be
wasn't.
both.
I just want to say what I shared this morning with the brigade with the about the film. I said, as someone who spent my childhood summers at Bungalow Colony within walking distance to Grossinger's, surrounded by Holocaust survivors, and who was obsessed with Triangle Diner, it was a reminder that we've survived every blight of anti-Semitism and will do it again. So
Absolutely.
I'm here now, see where we came from, know that we have a job coming ahead going forward,
Absolutely.
and it's people like you who are verbally out there and
Thank
part of the gay community, because like then and now we have like a double whammy
you.
obligation really,
Yeah. Well,
because
it's like Harvey Milk, like people don't realize that so many of our gay pioneers were Jews and were strong and successful as gay pioneers because they were Jews. So much of like the ability to fight and to stand up and to not back down comes from a place of like, look, like I'm gay, I look like this, right? So wherever I go, I'm already being threatened as a gay woman. I am already, not in the safe. I'm already have to consider my safety in those environments, right? Because I look like this. So if I go to different parts of the world, it's a threat. It's the same thing as a Jew. So here, like, yeah, it's a double whammy, but I also feel like it's double the strength. If I come from
I'm
two
so
communities,
surprised to hear that, to be honest,
yeah,
because I believe there was a moment that what you represent in terms of the look and just the natural organic who you are was such the kind of the looked up to strength within female gay, right?
wow,
Because
yeah.
that's my perception of it, having been around, noticing it since the late 70s, how it evolved. Then the lipstick lesbian became, you know what I mean? And that
Which,
this
and
is like
listen,
an evolution
thank you.
of gay, and yeah, no, 100%. You're like,
Oh yeah, I mean, I would die. I mean, my girlfriend's a lipstick, and thank God. I love how we butch women are, but I wouldn't touch us with a 10-foot pole. So thank you for the lipstick lesbians very much.
I
My
was
God.
gonna say the last person you want to date is you, I'm sure.
Literally, please, like, no, like under no circumstance, absolutely not. But there is, like I've talked, to so many lipstick lesbians that obviously they have their own struggle, right? They have to come out every day. And to some degree, everyone's going to assume they're straight until they say otherwise. So their identity is constantly questioned. They're constantly being told they're straight, or they're constantly told they're confused. So they have that struggle. I have the struggle of being told that I'm a man. So that's like my struggle. But
I can't believe it. I
all
am
the time.
shocked.
Oh my God, people
I'm
think I
upset
want.
for you
Yeah.
because I feel like if you could think like me for a second, I mean, speaking of lipstick lesbians, I'm coming back as one. Anyway,
you'll be really hot. I have no
I
doubt.
will probably use some old man's money just to show him the.
Oh my God. It's okay. I'm gonna come back into the lifetime looking like you and being a gay guy. Like I already know that.
So I just want to say, it's upsetting to me because I feel like, the kind of person you are, whatever the sexuality or whatever, is that strength of who you are that has to get challenged by anyone. That is not like in your circumference enough that you give a shit what they say. Like,
Sure.
I have stopped giving a shit
Oh yeah, completely.
anything. But the other thing I want to talk about and just kind of plant a seed with you is
Mhm.
that I don't know where you were politically leading into the 2020 election with the getting Trump out of the White House. No, into the 2016 election. Were you a Hillary person?
Not only was I a Hillary person, I worked on her campaign.
Oh,
I
great.
moved to Iowa to work for her campaign. I have historically been a Democrat my
Me
whole
too. I
life.
left on November 6th.
I left, I officially registered, I think it was last July as a Republican, and then obviously voted for Trump this year and am so this election, and I'm very relieved and very happy that I did so. But in 2016, I was the person posting that if Trump wins, I'm leaving the country. Sure enough, I didn't leave the country. I ended up marrying a woman, ended up divorcing a woman. My life is, none of that was easier just because I was gay. None of it was different just because I was gay. It was still the same hell of a process. Um, so I survived his first, thing just fine. And yet I still carried the like liberal media mantra of like he sucks, he's awful. I can spend honestly hours talking about how poorly the Democrats ran the presidential campaign and how we literally
Oh
just
my God. And they also, and Hillary
handed
sucked.
it to them.
Hillary
Like,
sucks too, by the way, because she
oh,
never got out of that friggin' pantsuit and put on a denim jacket and go sit on a farm for 2 days and shut up being so perfect. I loved her
yeah.
so much.
Yeah, no, no. I mean, it
Anyway,
was
but here's what I want to say. So after Trump won and he went in 2017, that organization Indivisible started, where they would have all these individual groups that would kind of rally, and that's when all those protests. They're still around, Indivisible, but that first year, he was every night on Rachel Maddow, and they were talking and organizing, and we started one here in LA because when Trump did the Muslim ban, we got a group of Jews together to like support the Muslims and whatever, which would
yeah,
never
because we
happen.
Jews are always mobilizing to help everybody.
That's it. And but I was thinking, even though I could never go to them and say we need a Jewish space to kind of galvanize people like us. So who needs their thing? But I just think, and I'm going to bring it up to the brigade too, which the brigade kind of is that, but it's a little too, fancy. But I think, and this is just an idea that we have to find people that are determined enough to speak up and seem like there's, if we look like we're ready to deal with you, like not to be violent and not to even have any physicality on that level at all,
Absolutely.
because that's just going to be not work out anyway. Like, I'm a
Me
Zionist.
too. They're so nuts. Like literally, people always say, like, make sure, like, if you go in those spaces, don't be aggressive. And I'm like, I don't need to be. I just walk there with my Jewish star visible and like an Israel shirt and just smile. And that's enough for people to start hurling horrible words at me, telling me I'm a Nazi, telling me I don't belong, telling me I need to leave. I mean, in every instance now, whether I've gotten to film it or not, every instance has been them coming to me and starting something. And so it's easy. I just get to respond. But like, there's never been a time where I walked in and said, like, take that keffiyeh off, even though I would like for it to burn onto the ground. I'm not taking it off someone. I'm not yelling at them. Like, go
No, I
with your
mean,
life.
yeah, it's so. I ultimately think, which is why the more I look at these people as embarrassing, the more I am in control of how I react to see.
Absolutely. But
Embarrassing, not scary, embarrassing.
absolutely
If you're
embarrassing.
embarrassed by something, you control the narrative.
Absolutely. And I get that. And I and that's why I look at them in that same way. But I think my horror, or like what really concerns me, is that the media is pushing their agenda. Like
Mm.
it's not like we have the media that's aside from Fox, like literally CNN and MSNBC. I mean, all of the vernacular that's out there is almost supporting their nonsense and is almost like being on their side and amplifying these crazy voices. So I just feel like I'm less concerned about the crazies. I'm more concerned about the amplification of their crazy and how you have people all over now seeing this and thinking this is normal, or thinking that our gay community is like like the chickens for KFC. That, talk about embarrassing. Like
Embarrassing.
I
Embarrassing.
it's literally
Embarrassing.
we're
The
stupid.
the
So stupid.
performative nature of this movement
Yeah.
is embarrassing. So that's
Yeah.
why they can't be. I can't be afraid if you're that lame. I think
Yeah.
you're embarrassing. Are you in
Absolutely.
the media or entertainment space work-wise?
No, I'm not. I actually am. I was in home healthcare for a long time. My family is in home healthcare, and now I fundraise for a Jewish nonprofit, but for security reasons I can't mention which one it is.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Um,
So
so
yeah,
let's
just trying
so
to do a lot of Jewish influence, Jewish impact. And more than anything, I just want to give back to our community and like be in the spaces that are Jewish,
I'm
like
so excited to say that this week I've been confirmed I'm going to Israel as part of the American delegation of the World Zionist Congress.
oh
Yeah.
my God, that's amazing. When do you guys leave?
It's in end of October. I mean, I'm not living there or anything. What it is there's you know what it is.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah. I voted for Cole something.
me,
But
whatever.
yeah,
Or,
I voted for that. Slate
uh,
number 4. It was with Matthew Nuriel was in that slate.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
a lot of members of Stand With Us were in that slate. That's the one that I endorsed.
They've been around for a while. We were a new slate, and we were called the Jewish Future, and we were the only real known moderates.
Nice.
Was various, and we were all Democrats who just were like horrified of being Democrats, pretty much. And but
No, embarrassing.
the things that I was really clear on in terms of when I do get there and have any voice, even though I'm sure it's political and I'm going to end up going like,
Hey, it's still you have a voice. You're going.
I'm still gonna be able to bang home the fact that we need. I don't know if you had any kind of after school activities that were Jewish-ish, like Young Judea or anything.
Well, I went to Jewish elementary school, so I should mention that. I went to Stephen S. Weiss Elementary in LA, so my life was very Jewish until about 6th grade. Then I went to Brownwood, which even though it was not a denominational school, it was still filled with Jews. So,
So, yeah.
yeah, very,
No,
very.
but I think what we need to implement for Jews in America, in terms of because of where we are now, is rather than go from senior in high school immediately to college, that we make or implement a 1 year program that's kind of community service, Jewishy related. We send to Israel for part of birthright, but for not just a week, so they really get the experience of like
Yeah,
a month or two if possible, and then working with various organizations. There's a Jewish kitchen here that makes food and serves in the neck, and to
absolutely.
really get a sense of this is who we are,
Yeah,
this is what we do, this is
absolutely.
how we show up for each other, and I really feel strongly about that. I'm damned if I don't convince somebody. I mean, AI, the tech business, AI is out of there. How do we not control some of the fucking algorithm that denies us a voice?
Yeah,
I,
yeah. I
I'm going to
mean,
go to Israel and I am going to scream from the top of my lungs.
as you should.
You know what I mean? So
As
I feel like if here's how I look at it. If Cindy Crawford could have made Americans drink Pepsi, which tastes like shit, then we can market something very sexy about these beautiful Israelis. When you go to Israel and they're like just strewn wearing their army uniforms and they're just kind of hanging out, like that's a campaign. Be a Zionist. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
I mean, that's just a more humor than anything else, but we have to invest a certain amount of money in taking back the word Zionist.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like, if we have to treat it like the N-word, we have to own it. You can't say it because I am a Zionist. You can't call somebody an N-word unless you're an N-word.
Exactly.
You can't
Exactly.
call a Zionist anything unless you're a Zionist. So that's the bigger challenge.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is really a pleasure to connect. And
It's such a pleasure to connect. It's so
and,
nice
and
to.
I'm gonna if I need to add my name to the list to get you in here sooner. And
Thank
then
you. Please let
offline,
if you
no,
can.
no, you'll love it.
Thank you.
Offline, if you want to talk to me about anything, we can maybe do a fundraiser kind of idea,
I
something,
would love
or
that. I would
something
love that.
something that, because the thing I just, my Orly Ravid, who's the lawyer, and the woman I work with on one of these projects, we just launched a podcast called Peaced Off, Peaced. And
Love.
what we're doing, she started the Film Collaborative, which is an indie film kind of production, kind of um, shepherding art, filmmakers through the process. Uh, it's called Peace Off. It's Israeli and Palestinian filmmakers and those who come together to this digital space to kind of find our way forward. So
Wow,
we just
amazing.
launched our first 2 episodes yesterday. I'll send you a link. Episode 2 is so incredible. And
Nice.
we're just kind of trying to know that no matter what, we are going to find a way forward. We're
Absolutely.
going to find a way forward with these lunatics that look like, embarrassing children.
Yeah.
And we're going to get a way forward in Gaza, Israel. Like Tel Aviv needs to be as safe and joyous as it always is when I'm there.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Do you know, I'm sure you're familiar with Daniel Spalding,
I know of him, but
that
yeah.
comedian. Yeah, so I adore him. He's so funny and we've become friends and I was thinking of trying to find a way to have like a comedy night with him because he'll be coming to LA I think in the coming months. So maybe that could be a good way to get some things going. I
And you
think
should tell that too, also to Danielle, because there's a few funny people in the brigade too. I mean, Ben Glebe was there last night. He's funny, he is.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, of course. Yeah, he's
So yeah. Well, anyway, but I do want to know what that is, and I can figure out a way. And if there's a way we want to add, so you don't want to add a link to raise money through. I mean, how do you raise money? Just private?
well, right now I can't, but right now we're doing it with our existing donors and I just can't publicize
No, no,
where.
no, no, no. I'm just trying to figure out when there is an opportunity to do anything that's link wise. You let me know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Definitely,
Okay,
definitely,
good.
definitely. The
Well,
more the better.
we're just going to save these Jews one Jew at a time.
Absolutely will. And yes, of course, anything that you can do to get me in there sooner would be
Yeah, I'm
great.
going to give a little bit of a and see.
Thank you. Thank you. Even though I'm not like directly linked to it in sense, like I'm not producing my own films, obviously being born and raised in LA, the amount of people that I know that do is quite a lot. So we run in similar
Sure,
circles.
I'm
So,
sure. All right, good. Well, you be good and have a great day and keep
ew.
being you.
Yeah, seriously, you're the best. This was such a pleasure.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Abe. Bye.